Hello guys, and thank you for watching my video review of the Power Rangers Samurai Megazord. As you can see, this is in the Super Samurai packaging. I purchased this in February. Got it on Amazon. There was a listing that had the Megazord set. So I got this, the Deluxe Clawzord, Deluxe Bullzord, and the 4 auxiliary swords all together. Spent about, I think it was $130. I'll be honest, I believe I saw this alone, just this figure by itself, on some websites for over $100 by itself, just because, you know, we're not on Samurai anymore. We're past Samurai, we're past Megaforce, now we're on Super Megaforce. So, with most Power Rangers and Sentai lines, once the figures are out of circulation, the price goes up. So I was very lucky to actually find it this year and get all of them actually for a decent price, under $150. Before I get into the review, I do want to ramble a little bit and say one thing that I'm going to do with this video, these series of videos, because I'm going to review everything that I have for the Super Samurai line, is that when I'm referring to the Super Samurai here, it's specifically Super Samurai. This here is the Samurai Megazord. The Samurai Megazord is not Shenkeno. I will never be referring to this American toy line to anything in the Japanese toy line. Simply because even though they may look the same, they are two completely different toys. So I will be doing a separate review for the Samurai Shinkenger, Samurai Sentai Shinkenger line, once I hopefully have all the pieces. I currently only have Shenkeno, Kajiki, and Kabuto. I'm working on these, and I do want to give a little shout out to my wife because she's somewhat supportive of me getting back into collecting. So she's the one that actually got me this figure. I don't have the box. This was bought used, but it is complete, thankfully. And so she's helping me get into collecting again. So I just started recollecting in February. And like I said, I will never refer to the Japanese and the American toy lines in the same series, because now the American toy lines are nothing compared to what the Japanese toys are, and our American translations and views of the episodes seem to be completely different than the Japanese ones. So in essence, they're both completely different. So like I said, there may be a video review of the Samurai Shinkenger line once I get everything. And I might even go into doing a comparison video of the two. So for that done, let's get into this. Okay, so here are the Zords in the individual forms. And the only reason that I have the Japanese toys in the back and the emblem modes is because, as everybody's probably already aware, the American toy, with the exception of this one, does not become the emblems. And for me, it is super cool for the fact that the Japanese toy line does become the emblems, but it's not 100% necessary. And the reason I say that is, with the exception of the Pink Ranger and the Yellow Ranger, the rest of them, they in other Megazord combinations never become the emblem. It's very important, and Bandai messed up on this one, or Bandai USA messed up on this one. They should have kept at least the monkey to become an emblem, because it is important for the Megazord as well as the Claw Armor Megazord for Yellow to be the emblem. The rest, besides just becoming the emblem at the beginning, they never turn back into the emblem again. Well, also with the exception of this one in the first episode. I'll talk about that when we talk about them individually. So, we've got the Pink Ranger, who's a turtle. Green Ranger is a bear. Red Ranger is the lion. Blue Ranger, dragon. Yellow Ranger, monkey or ape. I just believe it's referred to as a monkey. And the Ranger of Sky, wood, fire, water, earth. So let's actually now start talking about the individual ones. Who to start with first? I guess the Pink Ranger. Let's get these out of the way. Well, actually, let me say this, because I'll get these out of the way once I say this. In the first episode of the Samurai Rangers, that's the first time we get to see the Megazords. Okay, I corrected. Not the Megazords, the Zords themselves. The way this works in the show is the Rangers take their Samurizers, they place their emblem down, and then they write the kanji for, I believe it's transform or change. And I'm sure if I'm wrong, somebody's going to correct me on this. But they use their Samurizer, they write the kanji, the symbol unfolds and becomes the big Megazord. The Rangers go into Mega Mode, and then they use their Mega Blades to control the Zords from the inside. So the first episode, they do not form the Megazord. The way that they take out the first villain is the Red Ranger does, I think it's called the Pentagonal Smash. And basically, this just becomes the emblem. The arms come out, and then, oops, sorry, I hit the camera here. And then it just flies straight through the enemy, and it destroys them. So, besides that, the Red Ranger doesn't need to be in an emblem. And then in the second episode, when they are going to come together to form the Megazord, they kind of have a little mishap, whereas they form a totem pole. And so I believe what we had the green at the bottom of the totem pole, then the blue one on top of him, and then the pink one was on top of the blue, and then the yellow one was there, and then the red one's like, hey, you know, you forgot me, this isn't gonna work. And then of course they become the Megazord. But let's get the Japanese one out of here, and let's only refer to, from here on out, the American ones. That's the American one. Okay, so we'll start with the turtle. It's not much to say. It's all cast in gray, black head, pink eyes, silver little beak here. This is the Japanese kanji for heaven, though as I mentioned in the samurai line, for us it's referred to as sky. So like I said, if you take this, put the head in and close it, this is the only one that becomes the emblem. And the only reason I think this one becomes the emblem is simply for the fact of this transformation. If it could have been avoided, it would have been avoided. But because of the way it transforms, you get the emblem mode out of it. So let's do this again. We'll get it into the arm mode, and we'll put it to the side then. So transformations as follows. You come back here, and you're going to close the fins. Oh, and by the way, all of these have the Shiba symbol on them, and I'll show you where they're located on the rest of them. You kind of have to put in this one first, because there's a little groove here which allows the second one to close. You know, you can't really do that. It sticks out. And I will say on these, I'm not sure if because my toy is new, these ratchets are actually pretty strong. These are on a ratchet hinge, and it's a pretty strong ratchet. Same thing. Let's open it up here. Just split it. This ratchet, very tight. The tight connection here. Even the head is on like a pretty strong ratchet. It takes a little bit of force to get it down in there. And lastly, you rotate this around. Again, nice tight ratchet to form the fist. And we'll go ahead and put this to the side. And we'll bring in the Yellow Ranger's Megazord. Just, again, cast all in yellow here. The face is gray. Some yellow mouth, red eyes. All of this is cast in black, so the inside's all black. And there's the Shiba symbol with the letter R to let the people in the factory know that it's the right arm. And here's the Shiba symbol there with the letter L again to let them know that, you know, this is the left arm. It does actually have toes on here, but not necessary. Oh, and I do want to point out one thing here. Let me transform it into the arm first. So just take the monkey arms, pull them down, up, down, and then up, snap together, and that's the arm. And I don't understand what it was so hard to just put a little hinge here and a little hinge here to get it to bend to the symbol. Because again, this, for transformation, for other Megazord transformation, it is important for this one to become a symbol. If this one in the pink would have just been the symbol, that would have been great. But no, they didn't want to do that with this one. What I do want to say is that I'll show you up close on this black here, these ridges, they're actually in the shape of the symbol. So for the Yellow Ranger, you've got these triangles. For the Pink Ranger, they're circles. Put these to the side. We'll bring in the bear. Cast in green, black paint, silver paint on the outside. Shiba symbol on the arm. Again, with these letters to let the people in the factory know which side these belong on. Not too much detail otherwise. The ridges are squares. Mouth opens and closes. And again, this is actually a very tight. You got to pull on it with a bit of strength. And push on it with some strength too. The head does not come down any further than this because it does not become the emblem. So to and you know, this very dull gold paint, and I don't really like the little line that's separate. You know, it's obviously screwed together, so they've got this little line here. Transformation for the leg, close that, and we do not get any paint on the symbol. The symbol is there, but it's not painted. And for this particular Megazord, I'm not bothered that it's not painted. When I review Shinken, I'll tell you why the paint bothers me. Red eyes, which seems to be a theme with most Megazord animals, usually red eyes. Fold this up, and now you have a leg. And on the US toys, we get these two little pegs off on the side. This will end up being the Megazord's right leg. So it's on the outside here. This is used for an auxiliary sword, and I'll talk about that more in a follow-up video when I do the auxiliary swords. For me, this is the one that I have the biggest problem with, the Blue Ranger Zord, because he's just... If you've seen what the Blue Ranger Zord looks like for Japan, you'll understand why this is a big problem. What I do like about this one, and I know a lot of people, other people who review it don't really like the fact that the sword goes in his butt. But I like that simply because I am not a big fan of loose parts when it comes to Power Rangers, Transformers, whatever it is. I don't really like pieces being loose. It's easier to lose them. So I love it when the Zords can store their weapons, and that's not very common. A lot of those, if you've ever had a lot of the older Zords, the weapons, you got to put them to the side, so it's easy to lose them. So for that, I love the fact that the sword is actually a part of this transformation. But that's the only part about this I love. It's not anywhere near where it looks like in the show. The helmet does, though, get stored into the Blue Ranger's figure, so they kept that. Mouth opens and closes. It's cast in blue with black and silver trimming. And it's probably a little bit harder to see, but yes, those ridges are in the shape of a hexagon. He's got a little gold here. Red eyes, of course. And then let's... what else can I show? I think that's about it, actually. Oh, he does have feet, but because of the sword, he's very back heavy. So even just tapping on him, he straightens himself out. My floor must be uneven for him to stay back like that. I must have an uneven floor. Because this way, it actually stands. To transform him, there's a button here. Push that, and it pops out the helmet. And pull the sword out of his butt. Put that to the side. Fold him down and bring the head up. And now he's a leg. Oh, the hexagonal symbol here. Again, dull gold, split in half, just because it's just two halves screwed together. And now we'll bring in the Red Ranger's lion. This one is, again, completely different than what it looks like for the Japanese toy. He's got his ports, the Zord ports here for the Zord builder. Same thing on the arm. So obviously he becomes the torso and the head. Mouth does open and close. Not as hard as the other ones do. Oh, you know what? Sorry, let me bring him back real quick. Not sure how well the camera's going to pick it up, but the Shiba symbol is on both sides of the neck. And for him, the Shiba symbol's on both of the arms. Oops. Both of the arms here. There. The top half does get the paint for the symbol, the emblem, but you don't get it on the sides here. The legs for the Megazord are on down here. She's got the Shiba symbol for the Megazord. Now the eyes are that turquoise color or whatever that the legendary Megazord had. I don't really like it, but you know, you can't have red eyes on a red figure, so what are you gonna do? What else can I say about this one? So this is supposed to be this big old thing here. You're supposed to use your imagination, and that's supposed to be the mane of a lion. It's a pretty big mane, but again, I will say that the Japanese figure does make it look more like a mane. It doesn't look really much like a mane to me. Transformation for Megazord or Megazord. Fold these up, and these are, again, very tight clips. I mean, that's really tight. You got to use a lot of force to get it off of there, and even that clip up there is fairly tight. You can close the mouth. Take these bits, which seem to be, no, they're not on a ratchet, but close it, and then you take this and fold it up. Come in here. The head on this one is only in one piece, and you pull that up there. Let's talk about the head real quick before I put the helmet on. So the back of the head is flat. I don't really like that very much. It's just flat. It's not round. With the Japanese toy, I love the fact that the head sculpt, you could leave it like that, not put the helmet on, and it still looks cool. This one looks stupid without the helmet. And that symbol, the Shiba symbol that's on its forehead, to me, it just not detailed enough. It looks very stupid. Again, it's got the teal eyes, but again, red eyes will clash with the face, which is trimmed in red with silver. So that's all I can say about this one. Oh, and there's this on his back. He's not as hollow, and this is for connection with the auxiliary Zords, which we'll, like, again, talk about in future videos. There is the LR, just again, to let the factory know what goes where. Alright, let's put them together. So, like I said, this is going to be the right leg. Snap it there. Left leg. Snap it there. The Pink Ranger is the right arm. The Yellow Ranger is the left arm. And again, the joints on this thing, I will say, except for the legs, the connection on the legs to me aren't all as tight. The legendary Megazord had tighter joints, but the arms are very tight. Okay, we'll bring in the helmet. With, again, this is very just dull paint, and it's supposed to be even, but I'm not sure if it's just my figure or not. This is very uneven. This side is lower than this side. You do get the Shiba symbol in the middle. Let's see, focus. There it goes. And then what I do like is the helmet on both sides actually contains the 5 symbols of the swords. And this will go right up there. And it completely hides his face. I mean, yeah, you could see it because I'm putting it up to the camera. But if you just leave him be, that helmet is way too big for his face. And there we have the Samurai Megazord. What I do not like about this figure is the arms are at an angle facing forwards. They're not flush straight down, and because of the very tight ratchets, they can't stay straight down. So you kind of get them at this angle here. And then the next ratchet's there. Then the next one is like above his head. This is the way all of the Samurai Megazords are. So I guess it's not too bad considering that his weapon is a sword, which I will bring in. Here it is. I'll put it on him and talk about that in just a second here. But the bull holds a blaster, and it won't hold it straight. And I will talk about that when I bring in the bull Zord. So on his own, let's do the weapon first. So here is the sword. I do not believe in the American version it has any special name. Just all gray, I think this is PVC, very flexible, which actually ends up hurting this weapon a lot. It does at the bottom, focus in there, have the Shiba symbol. And the blade is detailed with the symbols. Let's see. You've got the lion, then the dragon, and then the bear, and then the ape, and then the turtle. And you get it on both sides of this weapon. But because of that very flexible plastic, the sword, and this is the way it came in the box. I haven't been able really to fix it. It's not straight. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick this up. Let's see here. Let's see if it'll focus in. No, let's get him out of the way. Let's see. Okay. It starts to bend It's very crooked, and I have not found the way to keep it permanently straight. So that's just something that I don't like. It's maybe if I hold it back further, you'll see that it's bent, out of shape, and this is the way it came in the box. I've tried bending it a little here and then bending it a little that way and trying to keep it pressed between, you know, something for a while, but it just never stays completely straight. It always comes back to this shape here. The Megazord has no problem holding it in the hand. But for me, on a personal level, when I display him, the sword fits in the side just like it would on the show. I display him like that, with the sword at the hilt. And that's all I got to say about this one. On his own, would I buy him? If I had the Japanese toy, no. On his own, not really. If you don't have the Japanese toy and you want the Megazords for the Power Rangers line, yes. If you don't already have him, look for him cheap, probably used. Because, to be honest, when I saw him for over $100 on his own, I was amazed. I would not pay that much for this. I think he retailed at the same thing like the legendary Megazord, about $30 to $50 depending on the chain you bought him from. And he may be worth that. He is not worth spending over 30 or 40 bucks on, at the most. Even that. So like I said, I'm glad that I got the whole entire set for $130 as opposed to having to buy them each individually. Because on his own, he's okay. I will say that compared to the Japanese one, he's much more proportional to a person. He's got thighs, but this bothers me, the fact that the arms don't stay down. And it bothers me that at least the yellow one doesn't become the emblem, because it is very necessary for the Gigazord and for Claw Armor Megazord. Other than that, you know, there's not much else to say. I will say, and like I said, we'll get to this. And I keep hitting the camera here. I will say that when we get to the auxiliary Zords, it gets even worse. So yeah, that's it. That's all I can say about this one. Omar the Aries here. Thanks for watching my toy review, and I'll see you in whenever I bring in the next Megazord. Thanks for watching. Bye.